A lot of people will look at their bank account this week, see that deposit hit, and wonder the same thing. Is this the payment everyone's been talking about? And am I actually getting one of those Social Security checks around $2,000? That question matters because when money is tight, even one expected deposit can make the difference between paying the rent on time, covering prescriptions, catching up on utilities, or just getting through the week without panic. And when headlines start flying around about $2,000 Social Security checks, it's easy to assume there's some kind of new bonus, some surprise payment, or a special program that everyone is supposed to receive right now. But here's the most important thing to understand right away. Yes, Social Security payments are going out this week for certain beneficiaries. But no, that does not mean there is one universal new $2,000 bonus check being sent to every person on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI. What's happening is more specific than that, and if you understand the schedule and how benefit amounts work, you'll know exactly what to expect and what to watch for. In this video, we're going to break down who gets paid this week, why some people may see a deposit around $2,000 or more, why others will receive a different amount, how SSA, SSI, and SSDI payment timing actually works, and what you should check right now if your payment does not show up when you expect it. Let's start with the part that gets the most attention. If you're hearing $2,000 checks, that number sounds exciting because for many retirees, that amount feels meaningful and realistic at the same time. It's not a tiny number, and it's not an unbelievable number either, and that's exactly why so many people click. They want to know whether a regular payment is coming, whether the amount changed, and whether they might qualify for more than they thought. The truth is, some Social Security beneficiaries do receive monthly payments around that level, and some receive more. In fact, the Social Security Administration says the estimated average monthly retirement benefit for January 2026 is $2,071. That means a payment in the neighborhood of $2,000 is very real for many retired workers. But average does not mean guaranteed, and it definitely does not mean everybody gets the same amount. That's where many people get confused. Social Security retirement benefits are based largely on your earnings history and the age when you claimed benefits. If you claimed earlier, your monthly check may be lower. If you waited longer, it may be higher. The SSA explains that starting retirement benefits before full retirement age reduces the monthly amount, while delaying past full retirement age can increase it. So when people hear one number online and assume that applies to everyone, that's usually where disappointment begins. Now let's talk about this week specifically, because that's the part people care about most right now. According to the official SSA payment schedule for 2026, Social Security benefits are generally paid based on your birth date if you started receiving benefits after May 1997. If your birthday falls on the 1st through the 10th of the month, your payment is scheduled for the second Wednesday. If your birthday falls on the 11th through the 20th, it goes on the third Wednesday. If your birthday falls on the 21st through the 31st, it goes on the fourth Wednesday. Because we're talking about this week, that means one group matters most right now. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th, and you receive Social Security under the standard post-1997 schedule, your payment is scheduled for the second Wednesday of August 2026, which is August 12th. That's the key date this week for many beneficiaries. So if you're in that group, this is the week many people will be checking their direct deposit, their bank app, or their mailbox very closely. Now, if your birthday is from the 11th through the 20th, your payment is not due this week. It is scheduled for August 19th. And if your birthday is from the 21st through the 31st, your payment is scheduled for August 26th. That matters because a lot of unnecessary stress happens when someone sees online chatter about checks arriving this week, but their own payment date is actually next week or later in the month. There's another part many people overlook. Not everybody follows the Wednesday birth date schedule. If you started receiving Social Security before May 1997, or if you received both Social Security and SSI, the schedule is different. In those situations, Social Security is generally paid on the 3rd of the month, and SSI is generally paid on the 1st. That means some people already received their August payment earlier in the month and may be wondering why everyone else is only now talking about checks going out. The answer is simple. Different groups are on different schedules. And if you're on SSI only, there's another important rule. SSI is usually paid on the first of the month. If the first falls on a weekend, the payment is generally sent the Friday before. That rule can make some months feel unusual because the deposit may arrive at the very end of the prior month instead of on the first day of the new one. That can cause confusion if someone thinks they got an extra payment when in reality it was just the next month's benefit arriving early because of the calendar. This is why understanding your category matters more than reacting to a headline. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're receiving retirement benefits and your birthday is August 7th. You claimed benefits after May 1997, and your money normally comes by direct deposit. In that case, you'd be looking for your August payment on Wednesday, August 12th. If your monthly benefit is around the average retired worker amount, then yes, your deposit could be right around that $2,000 mark. But that would be your regular scheduled monthly benefit, not a surprise bonus. Now imagine someone else receives SSDI and their birthday is August 17th. They might see videos and posts saying checks are coming this week and think something is wrong when nothing appears in their account on the 12th. But under the standard schedule, that person's payment would be tied to the third Wednesday, which is August 19th, not this week's date. So the real issue is not a missing payment, it's simply that their scheduled day is later. Or suppose another viewer gets SSI and nothing else. That person usually isn't waiting for a Wednesday payment at all. SSI normally comes on the first. So when they hear about Social Security checks this week, they may be hearing information that sounds relevant, but doesn't actually match their own payment structure. And that misunderstanding can create worry where there doesn't need to be any. That brings us to something equally important, the amount itself. When people hear SSA, SSI, SSDI payments, they often lump everything together as if these are identical programs. They are not. Social Security retirement benefits are based on a worker's record. SSDI is disability insurance based on work history and disability eligibility. SSI is a needs-based program for people with limited income and resources, including older adults and people with disabilities. The SSA describes SSI as a program that provides monthly payments to people with disabilities and older adults who have little or no income or resources. That means SSI works very differently from retirement and SSDI, especially when it comes to payment amounts. For 2026, the SSA says the federal SSI payment standard is $994 per month for an individual and $1,491 for a couple. That's important because it shows right away why $2,000 checks should never be assumed across the board, especially for SSI recipients. Some SSI recipients may also receive state supplements or have different combined situations, but the federal standard itself is below $2,000. So if you're on SSI and you hear a broad claim about $2,000 checks, that should be a signal to slow down and verify what kind of payment the claim is talking about. The next point matters if you've noticed a change in your benefit amount this year. Some people may connect a higher payment with a rumor of new checks, when what they're really seeing is the 2026 cost of living adjustment. The SSA says Social Security and SSI benefits increased by 2.8% in 2026. That means many beneficiaries saw their regular monthly benefit go up compared with the prior year. It was not a one-time gift. It was the annual COLA adjustment. That matters because if your payment looks a little bigger than what you remember from last year, the reason may be completely ordinary and official. It may simply reflect the current year's benefit adjustment. In other words, a person receiving just over $2,000 might not be receiving a special program payment at all. They may just be receiving their normal monthly benefit after the COLA increase. Now let's look at one of the biggest misunderstandings people run into. A lot of viewers assume that if they don't get paid early in the morning, the deposit is missing. That is not always true. Banks and credit unions post direct deposits on different timelines. Some show pending deposits early, some wait until later in the day. Some institutions make funds available at a different time than others, even when SSA release the payment on schedule. The SSA also advises allowing 3 additional mailing days before contacting Social Security if you don't receive your payment on the expected date. That doesn't mean you should ignore a real problem. It just means a same-day delay is not always an emergency. Here's what to do if you're expecting a payment this week. First, make sure you know which program you're actually receiving. Retirement, SSDI, and SSI can all have different timing rules. Second, check which payment schedule applies to you. If you started benefits after May 1997, your birth date usually controls your Wednesday payment. If you started before May 1997, or if you received both Social Security and SSI, your schedule may be different. Third, compare your expected date with your actual date. If your birthday falls from the 1st to the 10th, August 12th is the date many people should be watching this week. If that's not your birthday range, you may simply be early in your worry. Fourth, look at the amount without assuming it should match someone else's. Your payment reflects your own work record, claiming age, disability record, or SSI eligibility rules. Comparing your amount to an online headline is one of the fastest ways to create confusion. And fifth, if something truly seems wrong, don't guess. Check your SSA account information and rely on official notices rather than viral claims. There's one more reason this topic gets so much attention. For many older Americans and disabled beneficiaries, these payments are not just numbers on a screen. They are the structure of the month. Bills get timed around them. Grocery spending gets timed around them. Prescription pickups get timed around them. So when a headline suggests money is coming this week, people don't click out of curiosity alone. They click because they are trying to protect stability. And honestly, that's understandable. If you're living on a fixed income, you can't afford to be casual about payment timing. You need to know whether the money is actually on the way, whether the amount makes sense, and whether you need to take any action now. That's why the best approach is not excitement first. It's clarity first. So let's pull all of this together. Yes, Social Security payments are going out this week for a specific group of beneficiaries. If your birthday falls on the 1st through the 10th and you're on the standard post-1997 schedule, your payment is set for Wednesday, August 1-2. Yes, some beneficiaries may receive payments around $2,000 or even more. The estimated average retirement benefit for January 2026 is $2,071. So that amount is realistic for many retired workers. But no, there is not one automatic new $2,000 check being sent to every Social Security, SSI, or SSDI recipient this week. Your amount depends on your record and your program. Your payment date depends on your category, and in many cases, your birth date. And if you receive SSI, remember that the federal payment standard for 2026 is $994 for an individual and $1,491 for a couple, which shows why broad headlines can be misleading if they don't distinguish between programs. The biggest takeaway is simple. Don't let a viral title make you panic, but don't ignore your schedule either. Know your payment day, know which benefit you receive. Know that this year's 2.8% COLA may explain why your monthly amount looks a little different. And if you're expecting a deposit this week, give the system and your bank a little time before assuming something went wrong. Most of all, remember that your own case matters more than any headline. If this applies to you, take a minute today to verify your schedule and review your benefit details using official SSA information. That small step can save you a lot of stress. If you found this helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who receives Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, and may be wondering whether a payment is coming this week. And as always, stay informed, stay careful, and make sure you verify your own situation using official sources whenever payment timing or benefit amounts are on the line.